Welcome back to day 6, session 6. Last night we covered headshot and now into the ignition bar here tonight. Don't want to get out of order here for our notes section. So what exactly is the ignition bar? This is going to be a high time frame bar that we're looking for that's going to clue us in to a direction. This is a directional bias indicator scenario. If I see an ignition bar, I do not want to trade against an ignition bar. That's it. If you write that down, that is the majority of what you need to know about the ignition bar. That is a solid bar from top to bottom with minimal wick. It is intended to be used with the 89 range tide chart. The ignition bar is an invaluable filtering tool in the order of operations process. If you see one of these right there, we do not want to ignore that. This little zoom in right here doesn't really quite do this justice, because the other thing that is very important about an ignition bar is it's bar number 3. We use this important number a lot. Bar number 3 after a pivot. So right here, you can count it. Technically, this is a good example, but let's count the bars. There's bar number 1, there's bar number 2, and here is bar number 3. When bar number 3 is a solid ignition bar from bottom to top, I do not want to trade against that. As soon as this one comes for the next set of bars, I am literally on my next play. I want to be playing in the direction of the color of that bar. Now, in ours, again, we kind of neutralize the bar colorings, but this is an up bar here. If you want to color your bars to either green or blue or whatever color you want them to. And we do have an indicator for this as well, with an audio alert and a visual that will turn it gold by default. Now you can change that to whatever color you want inside of the settings. Bar number 1, bar number 2, bar number 3. Once that bar completes, right here, I'm going to look for the next bar. And even if this is going to start turning red potentially here on this one, where that's what happens there with that little tail on the next bar, but look at the strength of this. Almost 70 to 80% of the time, this thing is going to continue on into the next direction. Not saying it's going to go a full 100 or 89 tick bars, but that is a very common situation especially when you have a pullback into an area on an 89 and a big ignition bar shows up. I want to play that next bar as though the next bar is going to continue, and essentially think of it as also being green. If there's an ignition bar right in front of this one, I am going to assume that the next bar is also going to be a green. It is as simple as that. I'm not going to trade against an ignition bar if I see it come in on the charts. This is going to be here on that chart number 1, top left. It's going to be on the tide chart. Now remember, if you are on the 3 chart layout, you are not going to have this. Here is what it looks like in the opposite direction. So we got bar 1, bar 2, and bar 3, a big monster. This one's got a little bit too much tail on it. I would really actually rather see it like this one. I don't know, we probably could have found a better example image for this one, but it's more like this one right here. That is more of an ignition bar where it is solid from nearly the top to the bottom, hardly any wick whatsoever. I would actually classify this one as an ignition bar. This one might not be a great image example there on that one, so I do apologize for that. This one, now that's a great example of one right there. That's what I'm talking about, where you get an ignition bar, and we also have, this is showing the indicator that will change the bar color for you, and you can also add a sound alert to it as well if you want to be alerted on an ignition bar to give you that warning. That's because that's what we care about, is it finishing off a complete flat top, that it has moved the entire bar, and then a new bar shows up. You maybe get that little wick. That's the perfect entry to the long side scenario. Hopefully we get a lower time frame entry along with it. Again, I'm not just taking this as an entry play. This is more about, remember, taking a high time frame opportunity with a lower time frame risk. And there's your colorings right there, long bar and short bar. We both have them set to gold by default, but you can change that to whatever you want. Here we go. J-hook. Let's talk about the J-hook strategy. This is a structural strategy, a pattern strategy. It is a J-hook layout, and it looks just like it sounds. The J-hook is an advanced trade strategy for experienced users only. I would not recommend this for the new folks, okay? There's a higher risk on this play for where the stop would want to be. You need to make sure, like, there are some strategies you can kind of get away with, like, well, it wasn't that big a deal. We got a target 1, no problem, target 2. We're looking for larger rewards, but there's also a larger risk along with this one. Generally, if you are a new person, keep these on your charts. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to take J-hook off my charts then. Well, I think you should have it there to know if you have the additional confluence of the J-hook opportunity, but don't necessarily play in on the J-hook entry. With that being said, let's get into the details of it. So J-hook is a powerful 3-target strategy, which can indicate a potentially large move in the market. The strategy is automatically plotted on the chart by Algobox, showing an optimal entry zone. That is the important section of this for the beginning part, for the entry, with a stop level and 3 target levels for your consideration in your trading analysis. Let's zoom in and take a look at what that looks like. So there are some components on the left. I'm looking for something that looks like a trap. We've talked about traps multiple times now. You're looking for something where it looks like retail might have gotten offside. It's like big red leg down. All right, retail's like, oh yeah, oh, and then all of a sudden they're caught. Okay, price comes up on them. Yank, what we call that first one. This actually kind of looks like a little bit of the doggy head that I was talking about on the 4-legged dog trap, but I don't see 4 legs over here on the left. But this is an ideal doggy head scenario that I like to play off of that 4-legged dog trap scenario. But if you have a 4-legged dog trap and then a J-hook behind it, even better. Then you can actually plot out your targeting, which is a little bit more difficult if you're playing just a pure 4-legged dog trap that we talked about yesterday. The key is that little J-hook. Okay, it looks like a little upside down, kind of backwards and upside down J-hook. Okay, kind of looks like a little hook there. You see it? Some of the key components of it, you're going to have a little triple crown right here, and you have 1, 2, and usually 3. You want to see something like this, but sometimes it's a little smoother like this one here. This one's a little bit more curved, almost a perfect little curve right there, but sometimes it can be a little bit more jagged and ended up looking like this, okay? And then we're looking for that takeoff move through a target 1, a target 2, and a target 3, which are some fib projection levels that are going to be drawn out there for you. So let's talk about what the ideal entry is. After you see a nice juicy trap to the left, because that's one of the things that qualifies a J-hook. You don't want to just take everything that looks like a little hook. You need to make sure you got a nasty looking trap to the left right here to trap those buyers or sellers in, depending on which direction your J-hook is setting up for you. This one is alongside. Here we go. We got the leg of hope right here. So this is where oftentimes a retailer on a trap, once they're in there on a trap, will go, oh, here we go. They'll generally add in on a position like this. Oftentimes you'll actually find a cross right in here. Even better. That means that retail did a larger set of retail stepped in right there at that spot. Or if you see it right here, even better as well on those J hooks. As this is curving around, you want to see them come in there. The absolute best is when you get the crosses laid out right there, right in front of the ideal entry locations. The ideal entry is a 50, between the 50 and the 618 pullback on the Fib extensions. Now, if you aren't familiar with Fibonacci extension tools or whatever, that's okay. Again, with our system, the J-hook is going to be drawn for you. Now, you do want to get familiar with using your Fib tools. We'll talk about that in the tips and tricks section. Oftentimes, as you are coming into our trading area, I kind of expect that people already know how to do that. If you want to know real quick here on your charts for the hotkey, it is the F8 on your keyboard, and this is going to be for your Fib tool. This is a default out of NinjaTrader, and that is going to be used to measure from pivot to pivot. And then that will give you some of these levels like the 50%, the 618, and then there's a bunch of others in the Fib series that you can learn about. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you are measuring these and drawing one out on your own in case, because again, sometimes our system doesn't actually catch these. If you see a J-hook layout and you're like, oh, I see a J-hook, but the system didn't draw it, you can actually do this by hand if you want. Just use your Fib tool, grab the pivot right here, measure it to the top of the crown, and then that 50 and 618 level. If you've got our colorings out of our system, we are going to overtake your Fib tool colorings. Your Fib tool colorings will look like this one if you had installed Algobox. So you'll have those green, bright green, chartreuse green, bright green levels right there. And I can enter in anywhere in this zone for the ideal entry. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always going to do this. So I say it's a little bit advanced because I will take a play outside of or above this area or even below it if I get some other play set up, like some of my favorites. I love it when I get an Enigma on one of these. You lay out an Enigma anywhere in this area, anywhere right in here, I'm going to take that almost every single time. My stop will be back behind the Enigma, and now I've got a new stop point, because a stop point on a J hook is actually rather large. If the J hook isn't going to work out, then it's basically a break of that pivot all the way down here. So the stop on this is much larger in general than most of our other play setups. This is not going to be a dot, box, or cross situation. This is a pattern scenario here, which is why I do not recommend this play for newbie traders. You need to practice this a lot, get good at this over time, see a lot of these, see them lay out, see them play out, and you want these particularly on faster instruments such as the NASDAQ and the YM. You see this on an ES or you see this on an RTY, some slower instruments, be very careful, because these can be very elusive. These things will turn into just a crazy shell looking thing all the time. This is a scenario where the faster instrument markets are going to have an advantage on the NQ and the Dow, which happen to be some of my personal favorites. So if I'm on those, I'm going to be looking for these J-hook opportunities because they have some big monster numbers in there. So what are the targets on these? This is the Fibonacci extension area. The reason there's kind of a double line right here, we call these the police lines. In my old videos, you'll see me talk about this. If you go into the advanced level J-hook stuff, there are a lot of videos, particularly around the J-hook, because there's several ways to play this. The way that it approaches these police lines, there are some advanced strategies around this. If you want to get deep dived into this, there are some videos down below at the bottom of the documentation area that I suggest that you go through as you hit this area. But in our boot camp here, I just want to let you know, this is a strategy. This is one of the play setups that we take. I'm looking for an entry here. It's labeled as the entry right here for you. If you've got it on our system, you'll see the entry point. So hopefully that should remind you. Take a play entry anywhere inside of this. If we touch right there inside of it and we're taking off, I'm taking contracts off here, here, and all the way up here on the target 3. Make sense? Now, you might ask yourself, well, hey, when it hits target 3, can I take a reversal? Actually, I generally do. I usually play this as a GLR as well. This is one of the advanced level things. If this play setup comes right up to the GLR, I'm going to generally take a shot at that for a 10 bag, same thing as a GLR that we talked about before on a double cross, double move. Here's one in the opposite direction here. We've got the play setup. We got the trap back behind it. We kind of get that little curvature in. We've got several points where we can enter in on the ideal entry location. And then we see the fallout there, target 1, target 2, and all the way down eventually to target 3. A little bit trickier one there. Again, when you see these, you're gonna know what I'm talking about, because a lot of these, again, when these don't play out, it's a deep one. Oh, I love it. Here we go. Here are some of my favorite plays. J-hook plus anything equals big plays right there. And this is what I was talking about before. Perfect example here on an Enigma setup. So the play setup comes, doesn't quite get right into the entry area, but all of a sudden I show up. I've got an Enigma, especially if it's above a level 10. This is going to be a nice juicy play, easy entry, precision entry level location. Target 1, target 2, target 3 on the runner. Here's an example here where we've got double Enigmas on the way down. This is why I say it's kind of advanced, because you can play this multiple ways as these set up. You see the J-hook potential show up. Now I get the entry there on the Enigma for 1, target 1. Here comes a 1. Is that a 136? My goodness. Now I'm entering in on the short side. This is probably after hours. Generally, when the numbers get this high, this is usually like an after hours play. Huge numbers there. Target 1, target 2, all the way down, target 3 on a J-hook pattern layout that shows up on your charts. Now, the reason that I originally saw these show up for myself was I used to get hung up on these. I would see some play like this and I would think, okay, I saw some play over here to the left on a setup, and then I see, look, okay, here we go. We're coming back down. We're coming back down. And I would get stuck on it myself. And then I would see these things run up and I'm like, you know, it's got this little curve. It's like a little J-hook. And so, you know, I kind of joked with my wife about this. Her first name starts with a J. And so I was like, you know, I might name this one after you. And I would see this. I'm like, if I'm going to think of Mrs. J, all right, Mrs. J is upside down here going, okay, look out. Like, don't play this back down into the stop area here. And that is how this kind of originally originated from me seeing this kind of get me wrecked several times, and it was like, dude, I'm not trying to short that stuff anymore, especially on the long sides that I used to get caught on, because I'm a big short specialist personally. I like shorts because shorts end up playing out faster. As I mentioned before, that slow favors the bears. I'm sorry, slow favors the bulls. Fast favors the bears. So I'm kind of generally, I like to play the short side because it just happens quicker. That is just a personal thing with me. So any other bears in here? Tell me in the chat there. Let's get some. I know you guys are probably bored of me talking constantly. Type in bull or bear. Are you mostly bull or are you mostly bear? Or how many of you are honey badgers? You're just like, you know what? I don't care. I take it both directions. Honey badger, bull or bear? Type that up in the chat. I'm kind of curious if anybody's a crazy bear like me. Slow favors the bulls. Fast favors the bears. That's right, Tommy. He knows what's up. All right, another example right here. This is where I talked about if the crosses show up, even better. Okay, this is getting them off sides. Love it. Both green showing up. You're getting bigger as well. 12 and a 14. Let's go. Big numbers off of that one. Target 1, target 2, and target 3 on a scenario right there. I see a bunch of badgers. How about that? A lot of people who are like, I'd play it both ways. Don't care. Oh, man, look at all the honey badgers in here. Okay, you guys are obviously Algobox people. I'm telling you. Love you guys. They're awesome. They're like, hey, if the play sets up, I'm going to take it. I love it. I've just found in my own stats, I find myself taking more shorts than longs in general. Okay, so here we go. Another one. We've got the trap. Yes, looks like we're going to the long side. Trap, don't think so. Now we're coming down. J-hook shows up. Boom, all the way to target 1. Now we've come back and just missed the entry one. This is one I was talking about before. Like sometimes it'll miss that entry by just a hair, but all of a sudden I get a cross or an Enigma or something else. And these are plays where I can add into my position. After I see the J-hook, now I'm thinking, okay, well, I've got space here for targets. And so now I will use other entry plays to play these out. Sometimes I'll use a double dot. Sometimes I'll use an Enigma. And generally, I don't play a pure J-hook by itself anymore just because our system has gotten so much more powerful. I will wait for some cross scenarios or other things besides just the pattern structure of the J-hook. J-hook settings internally there. This is a heavy processing pattern. So because of that, if you did want to take, if your machine is struggling, this is one of those you might want to take off because again, you can see them visually, number one. Number two, it's one of those that you should be, advanced before you're using them anyhow. So I'm not going to fault you if you do take them off of your charts, but this is a hog. Okay. This does do it's a lot of horsepower to check and do all these checks that's happening internally to draw out the J-hook to see what's coming all across all pivots. There's a lot. If you think about how big that space is on what happens internally, if you're, code-minded or not, doesn't matter. You can imagine for us to be able to predict trap to the left, all of this work here, it's a lot going on there. So if you want to take these off your charts, totally get it. This is one. If you want to save yourself on some performance, I wouldn't fault you for taking the J-hook off because you can do quite well with the other stuff anyhow, and you can visually see these, in my opinion. Pop them up there. If it hits T1 quickly, more likely to hit T2 and maybe T3. Generally, yes. Yeah, and that we talk about that in the advanced level strategies as well. It is a great tip there that Kiwi is talking about from the advanced level strategies. If it does hit T1 rather quickly, kind of goes straight to target 1, then generally, yes, 2 and 3 are more likely. If it kind of meanders to it, less so. There's a whole thing around if you think about what's happening as retail and the big dogs, which direction that they're taking it. After a swift trap where they're trying to get them to push, there's that rapidness that comes out the backside. That does help with T2 and T3 if we go quickly to target 1. So thank you for bringing that up there as well. Again, some advanced level stuff on J-hook. Don't get lost on it, but again, through boot camp here, we're touching on stuff, making sure you know and understand and cover them, but go deep dive. Remember everything in any of these. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, the videos are going to be included at the bottom down here. So make sure you go into the J-hook series videos. This isn't the only one. This is the one that is included in the documentation area, but there are advanced level strategies. If you're going to be a J-hook player, if you're just like, I just absolutely love the J-hook, you want to go deep dive on J-hook, go search for the actual term J-hook. Or if you're going through our standard 40-day or the 120-day program, then the deep dive stuff is in there under the J-hook. There's about 4 videos that cover all the aspects of the J-hook and the advanced level stuff of dealing with what happens around target 1, particularly around the police lines, and then progressions into T1 and 2 and 3. The Masher, one of my favorites. This one comes off of the MACV chart, and this is a high time frame reversal play setup in general. Tells me where I might have a great opportunity for a big move. Looking for those 40 bags. If I'm going to hit a 40 bag, I'm going to hit it off of one of these mashers. Not every time, but I'm just saying, like, this is one of my favorites to grab a 40 bag off of on the masher. Okay, masher reversal detection. The Algobox masher strategy is a filtering strategy on the MACV chart intended to assist in finding reversal opportunities in smaller time frame charts. The deviation lines mark levels of previous peaks and troughs where price reversed significantly prior, and now I want to see it come back to that area again. Not like a pivot check where you're just looking for a standard support resistance pivot. We're talking about pivots that show up on the histogram that can kind of be hidden in there, but will also show you at different levels that are not up there on the price themselves, but are down here in the histogram of the MACV. All right, so it's like, what is he talking about? Let's get into it and take a look. If I have seen this one, this is in the past. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that I got to take the opportunity to take that play unless I look over to the left, because all of this is about looking to the left, getting information, projecting it to the right, and then taking action. So in this case, can we obviously tell that that was a major pivot in the past? Everybody say, yes, that is a major pivot. I can totally see it. We came up and we came down. Now, even for the new folks, you need to learn what pivots are. I know we have had some people that are brand new with us and you're like, you know, I'm new to trading as well. A pivot is generally just a place where price reacted strongly and literally reversed. It's just a little pivot and we reversed. Went up, went down, went up. That's a pivot. So major pivot, yes. So major pivot happened right there. So what I want to do is I want to look down here. There's my eyeballs. I'm looking, I'm like, There's me. I'm looking down there and I'm like, I see you. I want to mark this level with my F6 tool. F6 is the hotkey for the horizontal line tool. Okay, so press F6 and then I'm going to come over here and click. This one also, we have, I can tell, these nice little dashed lines here. These are the standard deviation lines that are turned on in the MACV. And I mentioned this when we hit the MACV chart back in lessons either 3 or 4. And when we turn this option on in the fundamentals, remember how we could have deviation lines on? So this one here, I can tell that's a 2 standard deviation move against the mean. Now, that might not mean anything to you. Doesn't really matter. All you need to know is, if you're playing the video game style like we are, is, okay, this turned at the 2nd standard deviation recently. Now, why I say recently? Because if I am playing over here, because remember, we don't get to play the left-hand side of the chart. We have to play on the right. We're playing the far right-hand side of the chart, yes? So you're trying to make your best guesses based on information that's coming in right here on the right side. But looking to the left, you see where that pivot was. Now, I don't like that these 2 pivots are pretty close to each other here because, you know, it looks like, oh, we're just taking a prior pivot over there to the left. So we'll have some other examples here where this is not like this. But in general, this one's a pretty easy one to see. You get the pivot coming up right here. You see this come up right here. We're touching the same level, and I'm looking for a reversal at the same spot. Now, this doesn't look like very much there, but if you measure these in, oftentimes these are going to be, again, 40 to 100 tick reversals. Same thing up here. So this one, even though price has come all the way up here, I'm looking over there to the left. Remember that pivot was a big one. Look at this little mountain right here. Remember, it is on standard deviation 2. Standard deviation 2 was the one that had pivoted before. There it is. As we touch pivot, standard deviation number 2, we basically come off of it. That is what I call the masher, because I feel like I'm thinking about mashing it back down in the same location or mashing it up either way. All right, let's look at some more examples and it'll make more sense as we go. We can clearly see that was a major pivot. We came up, boom, price reacted. So I want to know what was the level on that one. So I'm going to look down here. Major level recently that reversed right there. So I'm going to wait for another spot where price popped up just like that. Now, in this case, this one is inside the standard deviations. It's right in the middle. So this is one where I want to use my F6 tool and I would actually press the button right here. I would press F6. I go to the top, tippy top of this mountain right here, and I would click the button. As I click that, it's going to pop me out a horizontal line right there. Okay. Then I'm look over to the right and I want to see a spot where we hit that area again. Don't really like this example. Not sure why we use this example for our screenshot, but I'm gonna blame Keegan. We fired him for a reason. Okay, that's a terrible example. Anyhow, so let's look over here again and let's see if we can find a better one here. So let's zoom in right here. All right, so that was a power pivot right there, big move down. You can also flip these back the other way. Major pivot turn came right here, so I'm going to look for a spot where price has returned to that area over there on the right, which again, this is why we fired him, because God bless it. Okay, like that doesn't even have, like, why mark it right there? It's confusing. It's causing confusion. It's causing me confusion, and I'm the guy who wrote the thing. All right. Okay, so bless his heart. That's what we say in Texas when we think you're stupid. So another pivot come up into this area here, and we are looking for another area where we are pivoting. And this is a 45-degree angle market. So it's another one that I don't generally want to look for a masher when the market is looking at a 45-degree angle. So again, not a great example here on these. Please follow my videos that are going to have better ones, although this video is not going to be it either, because this is a masher video that was based on our documentation. And they love you to Keegan. All right, so here is the masher strategy video, though. I would go and watch this one. I do a lot of examples in this video for this. Please don't overlook this. It is important. It is, let me come up here and let's see if we can get a live example. So doing this live here, let's zoom in and find out if we can find a spot. All right, so this one right there, we also care about the session time. This is close to end of day, so this is not going to be a great example here. That is around the end of day. No, this is 1 o'clock. Okay, so 1:30. So it's an afternoon opportunity, and let's see if we come back to that same zone right there. We touch and didn't come down too much on that one, but we are looking over to the left, and if I see an area where we came up to that same spot again, I want to basically mash that back down. Draw a line, draw the horizontal, and look for a play setup mid time frame, but I still want to correlate that with a lower time frame entry opportunity. Sorry for the poor examples. I will try to do one better. I'll owe you guys one on the mashers. This video is a good example of ones where they show up. 45-degree angle markets this week. Again, we had huge news. We had Apple, Microsoft, Google, all the big guys were reporting this week. We also had options expiration this week, and the big guys all reporting. So bad example week here for me to pull a live example, especially off of the Dow. Check these out on the NASDAQ particularly. Going to see some awesome opportunities in there if the market is not at a 45-degree angle. So it's a good example here to go. Sometimes you learn from what not to do. Do not look for those mashers playing against the main direction in a 45-degree angle market. However, can we play the other side? Yes. Make sure you are playing in the direction of the mashers to the upside. In fact, let me see if we did have an example for the upside on that with our 45-degree angle market stuff going on there. Let's scroll to the right. Have another one. No, that one is a breaker. This is why you can't just go off of them perfectly every time. We got the green arrow right here. There ends up being the big pivot on the top side. Again, more difficult in a 45-degree angle market, but I do want to be looking for those. Look to the left. If I do want to take a play opportunity, I'm looking to see if I also have a masher touch with those, and it looks like it got really tight there toward the end of the day. No surprise there on Friday. Early in, early out on Fridays. It is currently Saturday, by the way, for those wondering. I guess I should do context. If you're watching this later on, it is Saturday right now. We are doing a Saturday live stream for number 6. Okay, masher was a disaster. I apologize. We will do better, I promise. Enigma plus AudioBox, another one of my favorites. Enigma plus anything, really. I am here for it. I'm going to take a quick beverage here and let's play this in a video format. Your future is and then I'm going to grab a quick drink here. My throat is parched.
Enigma and AudioBox strategy from Algobox, a powerful combination for real-time order flow analysis. When a green Enigma appears and AudioBox confirms with large buyer sounds, it signals a potential upward move. This is your cue to watch for bullish opportunities. On the other hand, a red Enigma with AudioBox confirming large seller signals selling pressure, creating an opportunity for shorts. Look out for the Enigma piercer setups. When price pierces an Enigma and AudioBox confirms the move, it can signal a strong entry point. Combine these signals for precision trades. Use this combo to identify strong setups and trade with confidence. See you in the next one.
Let's go over here to the Enigma AudioBox. It's a combination of Enigma plus AudioBox, obviously. And we just get that additional confluence when you start to hear some aggressive buyers or sellers right after an Enigma shows up. The Enigma is an important one for obvious reasons. We use this as a kind of a staple in our entry systems. If we're using that with in any combination, or particularly around, I was just thinking about it a minute ago as I was grabbing that beverage on the masher. Again, the masher should be used in combination. It is just a, hey, I'm going to look to see if there's an opportunity, and then I'm moving down to my lower time frame entry charts to take the execution off of one of our cheat sheet entries on the lower time frames. The masher is a filtering mechanism, not a strategy entry. Please don't forget that. I needed to make sure that that was importantly mentioned, because remember, the MACV chart itself is the primary filter chart. Go all the way back to fundamentals day 1 and day 2, where we talked about that center filter being the main filtering mechanism. I'm going to move up here real quick on the top side. We're going to come up here to the top left. So in my examples from before, I've got my high time frame reads, I've got my tide, I got my wave, and then we are coming through, remember, our kind of osmotic process, sponge, the filter in the center, and the masher is down here on the MACV chart. So remember, this is a filter as things flow through over to my entry charts, which are going to be big and small. I know I'm reiterating this again, but it's important. This is kind of the key to our system with our 5 chart layouts and 5 time frame confluence. I'm looking for that final filter right here, and then I'm going to execute over here. So if I see a masher opportunity as well, now I can look for, let's say that it was coming up to the top and I'm getting into a little hill there, and I'm going, okay, I've just touched a spot that we just previously had from before. I see that masher opportunity. Now, did I get a reversal opportunity up here on the big time frame so I can grab a full 40 bag, or did I not? And I'm looking for that entry off of a big time frame. And again, if I get one right here, I could still play it, but stick to the risk and use the 2-try rule if it comes, and a stop out on the first one, 2-try rule. And we'll talk a lot about that as we get into the advanced sections in the tips and tricks area after we cover all of the strategies and we go into the sections where we're putting it all together. But I'm trying to kind of build that along the way with you as we go. I do think I saw a couple of questions here in the chat. Okay, so back to the Enigma AudioBox area here. So we've got a long one, a short one, and just like the video there quickly said, it's fairly easy. You might want to question though, so what happens when I get an Enigma and the AudioBox is in opposition to the Enigma? I actually want to go in the direction of the AudioBox, and it's going to be very obvious when this occurs. When this happens, oftentimes what you'll find out is the Enigma that's showing up there is generally going to be happening inside of the fiddle zone area. Happens a lot, and I love these because I will actually reverse it and look for a piercer play in the opposite direction when the AudioBox is hitting on Enigma. So the short answer for this is, remember, Flowmaster, it is flow. This is what you need to know. That AudioBox, if that's kicking, the sound is going to override the visual of an Enigma, especially inside the fiddle zone. You see those show up? I can take a reversal off of those or skip it. Up to you. If you're not comfortable, you know, this is something you want to take practice on. The stop is going to be inverted. So if you are going to take a piercer, remember, stop goes on the other side, and your stop is literally on the other side of what that little tiny triangle right there that shows up with the Enigma entry point. If that was the entry point, that now becomes the stop value for the entry. And I'm going to try to hold to an opposing signal as that breaks along with AudioBox. Enigma still gives you a good cue for, hey, there is a huge opportunity coming in right here. Oh, and we're getting drilling. When that thing is going off, I literally just want to go ride with it, use it as a breaker entry on the play. Hopefully a Dr. Seuss play, even better. If you can catch it all the way up here when it starts to fire off, Dr. Seuss entry on a 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, even better. I loved, we had an example there in the chat. One of our awesome members, there he is, Mr. Don James drew this one up here. Absolute genius that he is. 1 bar, 2 bar, red bar, blue bar. So if you look very closely, the 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish is now been converted, and our bars, I'm looking for that entry right there. So red to blue, going long, blue to red, going short. So now hear me say Dr. Seuss on my entries. And when we get to the advanced level stuff, I'll show you guys how sometimes if you're behind on a play and you see it running, you're like, oh, I missed the entry. Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss will solve a lot of things. Dr. Seuss, call him up. Hey, Doc, what should I do? He'd be like, you know what to do. Oh, yeah, that's right. Red fish, blue fish. Oh, okay, got it. Thanks, Doc. All right, extra points for the hidden content there. I love it. Did I miss something in there? I'm going to have to check to make sure I caught some of the hidden content gems. I'll have to look a little bit closer is what he's saying, huh? All right, there is a little bit more in-depth video down there. I think we actually used one of the examples of one of our members in that one as well. So you might want to go check out that extra video there on Enigma plus AudioBox, especially if you are a primary Enigma player. If Enigma is your primary, you definitely want to get acquainted with those as much as you possibly can. The Enigma MoonShot, love this one. It's so good. I had to add this as a primary filter in the DreamPanel pack. So on the DreamPanel, we actually have this on full auto or semi-auto for you to take on the next play or to continuously take there with full auto. There is the MoonShot turned on right there. Remember, on these, if you are going to set the MoonShot, it is a filter. So if you have Enigmas on, but you also have a MoonShot on, it will not take an Enigma by itself. It will only take the Enigma if it is also flanked by a cross on the left or to the right within 10 or 15 bars of each other by default. Now you can change that inside the parameters of the DreamPanel pack. It will let you make that larger, but by default it is, I believe it's set to 15. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So if you're going to go into the MoonShot cross threshold, it's set to 20. If you want to make that, you want to tighten it up, you can, but that will go to the left or to the right of an Enigma. It goes 20 to the left, 20 to the right. You see a cross nearby, it will enter in at the cross. If there is a cross over here to the left and the Enigma shows up and the distance between the two is 20, then it will enter. All right, there you go. Hopefully you can read through my scribbles there. And you can also change the low strength threshold there for AOs if you want to use those for your cross entries. By default, it is set to 10. Unless it's a 10, it's not going to show up. In the evenings, if you're riding along with the Nomads, so this is a QN, make sure the Nomads listen to this one. So send this detail to them if they missed it. They probably want to set this to like a 5 or 5.5 for the evenings. Great opportunities for the MoonShot on some of those crosses on the super AOs. I'm sorry, the regular AOs, but you might want a lower value there in the evenings in the non-US sessions. So what is a MoonShot? It is a combination of the moon, which is the Enigma, and of course the headshot scenario that we talked about from yesterday's, the last thing we kind of ended on, the importance of the combo there on that. Well, same thing with the Enigma. It's like kind of picture the Enigma as being a little head there, and then the crosshair, the reticle sitting there right on the head along with it. That's the ideal when they're like right next to each other. You get that precision entry. However, if it was like, if the cross showed up right here or the cross was like over here, still valid play setups, which is why we have that threshold. But if you want yours a little bit tighter and keep it closer, you can change that. If you want it, you know what, I want it only if it's exact and absolutely perfect and within 5 bars of each other, which again, if you see them, you'll know the ones, right? Like a scenario like that, absolute perfection, huge moves off of those plays. There's the infamous level 39 with a 14.4. that comes in on some of our screenshots on our websites and some of our external content. Beautiful setup right there. There's a live example on a live chart right there. That's a moonshot. Not playing the Enigma all by itself. See this one right here? It looks like an Enigma. I'm missing the cross here. What am I missing? Am I missing it? Do I see a cross anywhere near that? Okay, we're in the moonshot area, but there's an Enigma example. And this is why Keegan got fired. Okay, next thing. All right, here we go. Next, let's go to...
What is a moonshot? It's a Flowmaster Enigma plus a Flowmaster Cross. How do you trade it? Red Enigma, Flowmaster Cross. Sell it. Stops above the Enigma. Simple. Algobox. Level up.
All right, the Enigma MoonShot. Let's go to Enigma Cadence. One of the most important things, as I said, I believe in session 4, the most important thing, cadence. Any of my videos with the word cadence in it, you need to understand the daily cadence. You need to understand the intraday cadence. And in this case now we are talking about the Enigma cadence for strategies. This will also play into full auto strategies, making sure when you will learn a concept, when we get into the full auto stuff, of series of losers, the SOL, what are called the black swan events. Like, you do not want to get caught in a black swan event. So the best way to prevent a black swan event is wait until a black swan event occurs, because it's such a rare scenario. You can wait until one of those occurs and then begin your situation. That is the short way to explain cadence on full auto scenarios. And then of course in series of winners and losers, cadence is a very valuable piece of detail and information. The general idea is as simple as I might want to wait for a few of the losers to happen in a row and then begin my cadence sequence on turning on either full auto, or even for myself, I'm executing manually. You will see that the cadence will help you out in general. If you were just to, like, you know, you're not doing any filtering whatsoever, you're not thinking about going in the directions of tide, waves, or ripples, you're not thinking about any of that stuff. If you can count to 3, I've said this is kind of a hack to kind of hack your way to put some points on the board. It's kind of like wait until the other guy gets worn out. Like if you're going to get in the ring with Mike Tyson, like make sure like 3 of your other buddies go in there and try to swing at him first. And then when you get in the ring and all fresh, like you can get in and get a couple pops and then like get out. You know what I mean? So like let them get worn out. It's a very, you know, a simple idea and concept behind it. So here we go. Enigma Cadence. 3 losses, 2 winners, restarts. All right. The Flowmaster Enigma Cadence strategy focuses on tracking 2 consecutive failed Enigmas before initiating the first trade on the next Enigma. This is talking about the mornings. So there are 2 things that you want to pay attention to when I actually just talked about this in a live stream the other day. So for the morning session, I am looking for a cadence of 2. In the afternoon, I'm looking for a cadence of 3. Got it? Write those down for your notes. Write them better than my Crayola drawings. But in the morning, looking for a 2 cadence. Afternoon is 3. So in the morning, I want 2 losers in a row. Then I'm expecting, my expectancy is that I'm looking for a green to show up. But even if it doesn't, what I don't want to have is a lot of losers in a row. So if I want to avoid a loser, every time I avoid a loser, I think of it as a win. If I let 2 losers go by, I've already won twice. That's my mental idea behind this little hack, right? So I'm thinking the third one is going to be a winner. Well, what if it's not? Oh, but what if it's not, Vinny? Okay, that was a loser. Well, how many of you lost in a row? 1. Can you come back from 1 pretty easily? Sure. What happens if another one loses, Vinny? Well, I mean, you could. It could be in that weird black swan event scenario. Okay, you had 2 losers in a row. Okay, no sweat. Now I'm really thinking that they're wore out, and I can't wait for that third one to come in. Yes, I had 4 losers in a row on either, I think it was Thursday or was it Friday that I had because I wasn't waiting on cadence, right? Because again, this is really more of a hack, and for people who have smaller account size type of scenarios that can't, you know, necessarily live through a drawdown scenario, I just say, hey, this is a cheat for anybody with a small account. Just wait, and then wait for the other guy to get wore out, and then start swinging at him. Makes sense, like, because you got a smaller stack to work with. Then this cadence hack works really, really well. Now you're gonna get, you know, potential smaller bags. You're having to wait, and like there's a lot of things. Like there's always a disadvantage though at being the guy at the table with the smaller stack, right? But had 4 losers in a row and literally got it all back in one trade and then some. Yes, and I went over this philosophy a lot. Hopefully you guys have caught on to that. I do not think you have to sit there and wait and go, okay, well, if I lost 2 in a row, I got to get 2 winners. No, you don't. If I lost 3 in a row, I got to get 3 winners. No, you don't. You get it all back in one. It's got to increase your trade size from trades 1 through 5. Know that stats are playing in your favor, working in your direction when you have a good set of strategy and the edge is playing out in your favor. So we're basically looking for that cadence to work in our direction. Now, it can also work the other direction. In fact, the day that 4 in a row had happened over there, I looked to the left that morning, and in the morning prior to the open I had not been there for, there were like 5 winners in a row. It was like winner, 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 winner. It was just so many winners in a row. And then it just happened to be like, okay, well, now it had a loser, 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 loser. And then we back to had, you know, winner, winner again type of scenario. So it works the other side too. So if the cadence starts going, hey, I got 3 winners in a row, be careful of expecting like that 4th one to come up again. Although oftentimes when you start to see the Enigmas rolling and rolling and rolling, these will go 5 to 8 in a row. We actually saw one series of these that went 13 winners in a row. I actually traded live. That was pretty neat. Go check out that. Go to our Algobox official YouTube channel and type in 13 winners in a row. It's a pretty cool live stream that day, just watching Enigmas just hit after hit after hit. The Enigma Cadence strategy outlines a wait through a sequence of 3 failed Enigmas in the afternoon, starting a series of 5 trades. Now, the whole 5 trades concept we talk about with our 5 trade tracker. Remember, you can run this the electronic version, or you can have your physical version over there on your table, like I've got over here on the left-hand side with my 5 coins. And that's how I always started with I got something physical in front of me, tangible, in front of my face, right here. Usually actually had it right there in front of me. So when I was trying to get myself through the first years of profitability, getting out of holes first was to go, okay, I need something to make myself do 5 trades and 5 trades only, start to play this like a video game. The video game concept was coming to me at the time and going, okay, I need to do this and stick to 5. I need something in front of me to make me do it. I actually started with Nerf darts and I was firing them across the room to kind of give also myself a little mental break instead of like watching every fluctuation in the bars as well. Whole little psychological components of having a vision boarding system right there in front of you that's tactile with that touch. Okay, the objective is to get 2 winning Enigmas for the first 2 trades of your 5 trade session. Then restart the cadence, waiting for another 3 failed Enigmas before continuing the rest of your 5 trades. Again, on the 3 thing, I think it's waiting too many in the morning. You're hardly ever going to find 3 in a row losers of Enigmas if you're doing Enigma cadence in the mornings. It's a rare thing. Go back and go through a back test on that and see if you can find 3 losers in a row. It's hard to find, and you'll literally be like, you'll literally miss a lot of mornings just because you're like, well, I was waiting for 3 and only 2s showed up, right? So just keep that in mind. That's why I do 2 for the morning, 3 in the afternoon, but this is the general idea behind the cadence, okay? The guideline, wait through 3 failed Enigmas in a row. Start the 5 trade series on only the next 2 trades, trades 1 and trade 2. Remember the concept of winner, winner, chicken dinner. Let's talk about that. Now, this is really going to be in the advanced tips and tricks section, but we're going to talk about it now too, because it is that important. 2 winners in I want to say in a row. 2 winners in a 5 trade series is really what I'm looking for. Doesn't mean that trades 1 and 2 have to be winners, but within that 5 trade series, I want to see 2. Ideally, obviously, it would be great if I can get the first 2 winners on the board. Well, fantastic. However, I might have winner, loser, winner. At this point, I always tell people, like, I want to gauge my sizing. If you're trying to go, well, what position size should I have? Everybody's always like, Vinny, what size do you do? You don't necessarily go what size another person is going. It depends on your risk tolerance and your necessities, like what's your baseline for how do you put enough points on the board to pay for dinner. And I joke about it, but everybody kind of knows the old adage, winner, winner, blank. What is it? Chicken dinner. Y'all heard this? If you haven't, you might be too young. Okay, winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, winner, winner, chicken dinner is what I think of is with my 2 winners, I want to have made enough with my 2 winners in whatever 5 trade series. I have to put dinner on the table for me and my family. So winner, winner, chicken dinner, that's where the concept comes from. And then I will also look for a bonus. So you'll hear me say this a lot in live streams. So if it doesn't click with you right now, don't worry. When you get into the live streams, you see me doing this on a regular basis. I'm looking for that blue, B for blue, bonus. I got to make enough to put food on the table for my winner winner on my 2 winners. And then anything beyond that is a bonus. And we talk about how I kind of approach a bonus with a little more, I don't say precision, but that's what I'm looking for, is something I really want that extra great trade. I might wait in for a higher time frame coming with me, some extra confluence along with it, because I don't want to go in the hole on my bonus. Now, it doesn't mean it's just one bonus, because sometimes, let's say that one goes red for some reason. Okay, well, I will swing in another one until I get that extra one. I get that little chip in, and then I'm done on a session. Make sense? Wait for another series. Let's see. Take the next 2 Enigmas, trade 3 and 4. Wait for another series of 3 in a row. Take the next 2 Enigmas. So this is just the pure hack right here. Okay. If you could probably close out all your other charts, have one chart, just Enigmas, and you just want to play Enigmas and literally take everything off of your charts. And you're going to go classic Enigmas only. And you wanted to play it. People have asked me that before. What if I just want to play Enigmas and Enigmas by themselves, nothing else? Then Enigma Cadence is what I would tell you to do. Targeting, same thing as always, depending on which time frame, looking for runners. Now, I like to play Enigma to Enigma, right? For my full auto systems, I literally will turn on Enigma to Enigma. So if you want to wait until the Enigmas, you had a couple of losers in a row, and then turn on Enigma full auto, holding Enigma to Enigma, red to green, green to red. That's a very powerful strategy in my opinion. We'll talk more about that when we get to the full auto sessions there. Here's a great example of it. Let's kind of go through these here. Now, these don't have targetings on them. Let me see if I got an example with targets turned on. All right, so another bad example screenshot. Gigan, you're fired. Okay. So it's hard to tell whether these went 20 ticks or not. So this is terrible for Cadence. Watch my Cadence video around this, and hopefully I will also work on getting you guys some better screenshots for these, because you can't really tell which ones of these actually hit their target. So a target on an Enigma is 20 ticks minimum. I'm not looking for 10. I'm not looking for 15. On an Enigma, even down on the ones, I am looking for a 20 tick target, which is what the default is for drawing that little blue line off of an Enigma. Let's pull up some live example here, and we're going to look to the left, and we'll see this live since we've got another bad example section. So there's an Enigma, and there's an Enigma target. Now we're down here on the 3s. I'm going to go down to the 1s so I've got more examples. So remember that these blue lines are going to be, those are the targets. So let me do this. This will be kind of a fun example. I'm going to right click, duplicate window. This is also something that I don't think we talked too much about. With some of the shortcuts on the charts, if you right click the word chart on any chart, right click, you'll get this option here to duplicate window, which will then put all of the same indicators. So you don't have to add like, oh, I got to do another chart. I got to add all the indicators, whatnot. This is a quick, cheap, easy way to duplicate everything that's on a chart with all the settings and all that kind of whatnot. Right click on the chart, hit duplicate window, which is what I'm going to do right now so that I can pull some stuff off. Okay, I'm going to duplicate window, put my original off there. I'm going to go into the indicator list here, and I'm going to pull off a bunch of stuff that is not Enigma. I'm going to leave the speedometer on. Delta Flagging Pro, Bella Dots, Alpha Omegas, Crosses, Harmonics, J-hooks, position manager buttons, we'll leave those on, profiler off, regulator. Okay, leaving the Enigma DreamPanel on. Okay, so now we should be seeing purely Enigmas and be able to tell if they hit their loser before they hit their winner. So this is an example of a loser. How can we tell? That did not hit its target. You know what I'm saying? And why it's important to have these lines on when we're doing these examples. So these are drawn on by default. So this one I actually like to mark with an F11. So the key that I'm going to use here is I like to mark my losers with F11. Okay. So that tool is actually it's actually the Fibonacci circle tool. But if you're wondering, people ask me all the time, what is it that I use to mark a loser? Okay. That's the F11. So that one was a loser. This one also looks like a breakdown below. That was probably one with an audio box. I love these when they come down like this and I hear audio box kick on right here. Audio box kicking. I'm going to go short on that, and I'm looking for some targets back behind the Enigma on a scenario like this one. And this was two losers in a row down here on the ones. Okay. Now, one right in front of it, big winner right there. No problem. That's a winner. So again, I'm going to mark the losers, and we're going to look at cadence afterwards. Okay. So this one, they did not hit their targets. They came down, broke out both of these. So you had a double Enigma right here. That's one. That's two. This one, that one's a winner. So that is a nice morning cadence. So to take that next one. So in the morning, I got loser, loser, right? So if I got an Enigma cadence, that is an Enigma cadence of 2. Does everybody understand that? How do you get the data off of the Fib Circle? That is a good question. I do have mine set in my properties. So in here in the properties of mine, I did set this as default. So the date time, divide time separately is unchecked. Well, here's my settings. If you want to grab my settings there, I've got 5 price levels. These are the ones that I've left on. Invisible. So that one is blue. This one is cornflower blue. This one is steel blue. This one is a dark cyan. This is a sea green. There for my settings on mine if you want my same colorings. But feel free to, like, you know, if you want to make those kind of red or something, I mean, come up with some cool ones. Maybe we should do a little contest to see who can make the coolest Fib circles there to make it look cool. But yeah, I pull off the text on those, so they're just little circles there for me. So I kind of makes it easy for me to visualize how many in a row. Okay. So there's 2 in a row. In the morning, I would be looking to take the next Enigma, and you'll actually hear me say that in the live stream. So like, okay, I got an Enigma cadence of 2. I'm taking the next one. I'll go up here and I'll turn full auto on scenarios like that. Okay, so winner. This one right here, that one's a loser, right? Did not get anywhere close before the pivot. Hopefully an audio box queue to still give me an opportunity to take that if audio box started kicking in long right back behind that one, and if it was in the fib zone especially. That's 2 winners in a row. Winner, winner, winner. So that's 3 winners in a row. And remember that cadence I said kind of works the other way too? So winner, winner, winner. Okay, be careful. I got 3 in a row, and yep, there shows up a loser, right? So cadence can come the other way as well on you. So look at these 3 winners in a row. Well, what happened right in front? Oh, there's a loser. Okay, did not go to its target before it broke the back. Now, hopefully you guys remember this from our Enigmas. Remember, our stops are behind the dot. In this case, the dot is a giant circle, so the stop goes behind. So that one, if I'm avoiding losers, remember, I am winning. So if I can avoid a loser, I just won. So that's a winner. Can't count that one. Let's find the losers. Another winner. There's a loser. So we're looking for clusters of losers. Okay, that is a loser, winner. It's a winner. That is a winner. There's a loser. Loser. Oh, I think we got another one. Yep. Okay, 2 losers in a row. So I want to take the next one, right? Oh, winner, right? So 2 losers in a row, winner. Of course, in the afternoon, I technically want to find 3. Perfect. Look, see that? Avoiding 3 losers in a row. This is afternoon, right? So afternoon, winner. I'm sorry, loser, loser, loser. Is my cadence now 3? Yeah, cadence of 3. What am I going to do? Am I going to take the next one? Boom, winner. Is the next one after it a winner? Yep, boom, winner. 2 winners in a row. You're done on the day. You have to put food on the table. Do you see how this is kind of a cheat? All right, here we go. Broke past the back. And if you have AudioBox, so I wouldn't necessarily turn off AudioBox. You want to have AudioBox maybe turned on, but you could just do a single chart with AudioBox and Enigma on it and Cadence AudioBox. I mean, I'm just saying. I'll probably do a video around that and do some market replay. Would you guys like to see that? If you guys want to see that, let me know there in the chat and down in the comments if you're watching this later. If you'd like to see a market replay session of me just playing AudioBox and Enigmas on a chart completely naked with anything else, using full auto, turning on and off based on cadence alone, I think that'd be fun. Let me know if you guys agree. Loser, that's a winner. The winner, so 2 winners in a row. Another winner, 3 winners in a row, 4 winners in a row, 5 winners in a row, and a loser. So loser, 5 winners in a row. Let's see if we had 2 losers. Nope. So just 1 loser in that Mitch. That's a winner. That is also a winner. Did not break the back. There's a loser. See if we can get 3 in a row in the afternoon. Nope. Winner. That one close. Nope. That one's actually a loser. Winner. Winner. I'm going to have to add more days of data. Anyhow, do you guys understand cadence? Is that a good set of examples there for everyone? Do you understand cadence a little bit better now and know how to draw it? Any questions? There were 2 winners for every 1 loser in that whole series. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, if you're going to take every single Enigma, you know, that could work in your favor as well, especially on the ones. When the ones, let's look at the distance though. Let's see, distance from a 1 entry is 16 ticks. So a loser is 16 ticks on the ones. Now remember, I'm all the way down here on the ones. It's about 16 ticks for a loser, 20 ticks for a winner. Again, ratios, you should also take into account, remember, the higher that you go, remember I've talked to this before, the higher the algo bar that you go, the more risk and all that kind of whatnot, which is why I love taking trades down on the ones. If the market is going to allow me to run the ones, I'm running the ones, right? Because I have the least amount of risk and I've got the maximum amount of reward if I wait for a high time frame play and then I enter in on a low time frame risk. Does everybody understand that concept? Like that is the beauty of the beast that is Algobox, being able to come in here and take the lower time frame risk entries with the higher time frame winners, and that are so visual. Again, you can do this with other chart types and whatnot, but with the consistency and frequency and power of the confluence that we have inside of Algobox, that doesn't exist in any other system out there, at least that I've seen. All right, the winner chicken dinner concept, there we go. We're looking for that one right there. And remember, if I can avoid 3 losers in a row, that's money, right? That is money in the bank. And then, okay, I had a loser, so what? And then I'm winner again. Awesome. And remember, if you're down on the ones, this is a 16 tick loser, and that's a 20 bag, that's a 20 bag, that's a 20 bag. This is why it works. All right, so there's videos on this. What is cadence in trading? There's some more quick ones, great ones there. Lots of videos there for you to catch in on the cadence. I even thought we had a short on this, but possibly not. All right, let's go to double enigmas. We actually showed a double enigma on that last example. Double enigma, double power. Yes, a double enigma occurs when 2 Flowmaster enigmas appear within a few bars of each other. This situation could lead to larger moves, offering a unique opportunity for potential market movements. Double enigma, it's exactly what you probably think it is. Now, if you've got full auto on, the system will boost it for you, right? This is literally going to enter in twice. So this is a difference between running full auto and semi-auto. So there are 2 buttons. I'm going to go over this in both panels. If you're using the standard, if you don't have the DreamPanel pack for whatever reason, you're crazy not to have that, in my opinion. Don't forget, if you are joining during our bootcamp event, you are getting the best offer ever. The second best offer is going to be if you join during a 2-week free trial, if you're watching this at a later time. And if you didn't receive an email offer on that, don't forget to reply to any one of your emails that you've received during your email marketing campaign on your 2-week free trial. Just reply the word DEAL. DEAL, and we will make sure and send you a sweet deal. Just write DEAL. Just reply to any email. DEAL. Or you say, give me that deal. Give me that deal, Vinny. It doesn't matter. It's got the word deal in it. We'll send you an email with a deal. Make sense? Is that a deal? All right, it's a deal. Let's shake on it. Okay, what's the deal right here? What's the deal with double enigmas? It does, it's more power in general. However, full auto is going to be important. If you are not capable of running this amount of size, if you are not ready for extra size, but you just want the great play, then you need to not run full auto. Okay, you need to do semi-auto when you are going to be going, okay, I got my cadence set up. I've just counted to 2 in the morning, or I've counted to 3 in the afternoon, and I'm going to turn on my full auto because I want it to just take the next play and I want to instantly get in. I don't want any hesitations. I don't want any slippage. I want to tap in. Then I want to turn that on. So what am I going to press? So I'm going to use the example here with the DreamPanel pack, but this works the same if you have the standard Enigma bot pack. Semi-auto and full auto, the difference. Semi-auto is only going to enter in on the first Enigma in a scenario where we have a double Enigma. On a semi-auto, it's just going to fire the first one and then disable itself. A full auto, she's green and she's staying green. Okay, she is going to go in and she's going to keep hitting. Does that make sense? And it will fire as many Enigmas as shows up times your ATM quantity. Remember that this quantity right here is not how many contracts, it's how many times it presses the button on your ATM. So if your ATM has 2 contracts and it's a 1, you're getting 2 contracts. It's a 1 and you've got an ATM, it's got 5 contracts. You got some crazy ATM that's like multi-targeted thing and it's got 5 contracts in it, and you say 1 quantity, It's going to fire one time. It's going to press the button one time. Remember, this is a looping mechanism on our quantity. It's a loop. And it loops as fast as humanly possible. If you want to do 3, it's like, it's going to tap them as fast as it can possibly get, which is basically 250 milliseconds, because that's what NinjaTrader's refresh rate is, unless you're using Speedy Chart. And then, you know, we went over Speedy Chart, right? Everybody remember Speedy Chart? Type of 1 if you remember Speedy Chart. 2 if you need a little review, or we're going to find out if you have not been paying attention and keeping up with our chats. You need to go here this weekend and get back to them videos. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You're not having fun doing it. You're doing it wrong, folks. It's part of the play. So calm down a little bit. Full auto, semi-auto. If you got the capital for it, then I would probably set it to full auto, because I would want this to go a little bit bigger for me on this play. That's just me. Up to you how you do it. Again, I just talked to you guys about how I run things. If you choose to do it, that's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Makes sense? Double Enigma, double the juice in general. There's a nice juicy one right there. Double Enigmas. Pretty obvious what to do with that. Stops remain the same. Stops behind your Enigmas. You can take one, you can separate them out. I don't recommend blocking ordering your stops anyways, which is why we have the spread button on the position manager button areas down at the bottom of your charts on your entry charts. The nice one right here. Looks like we get her added in on 3 on the first one, 3 on the second one, and running some juice. Looking nice. Here's 2 in the opposite direction there.
The double Enigma strategy from Algobox. Double Enigma, double power. This setup happens when 2 Flowmaster Enigmas appear close together, signaling a potential for bigger market moves. Here's an example. 2 green Enigmas appear within a few bars of each other. This signals a potential upward move. Stops are placed behind the Enigmas, and targets are set for the move higher. Now take a look at this red double Enigma. With stops behind the Enigmas and targets set below, this setup indicates a potential downward move. Double Enigmas amplify the power. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
All right, double Enigma. Double Enigma, Enigma Cadence Strategies, a compilation video of all of it. You might want to go check this one out. This is a great one that Eddie had put together for us over there on the Algobox Clips YouTube channel. Speaking of clips and YouTube channels, I'm going to do a brief plug here for the people who are doing affiliates. I needed to do an update video on this. Anyhow, it is Saturday, and if you're watching this later on, you're wondering, hey, what's that whole affiliate program thing? I'm going to go ahead and tap into it right now. The affiliates. If you want to affiliate with us, all you got to do is click on the link down on the, well, I think it's on the website now as well, but if you don't see it there, it's okay. There's a whole section on the left-hand side of Discord that I want to point you to for resources, and if you want to make your own clips from our stuff, you don't have to create your own content. So people have asked about this before. Hey, I don't want to create my own content. That's fine. I do recommend that, you know, you're probably going to do better if you do, but if you want to just grab our content, if you come over here into the Become an Affiliate program area there, just click on the Join Now button link. It's right up here. Click to sign up. There's a few details around it if you have questions on how to do things, but I'll give you the short of it right here. All of our content is available for you to use and clip up. If you want to clip up anything that I've already taught, anything on the Algobox official YouTube channel, you could literally copy pasta our own videos and put them out there, hopefully with your own titles and your own thumbnails and your own stuff. Okay, I do recommend, like, don't just be a copy paster and just toss stuff out there. You know, that can be problematic, but you can put your own affiliate links down in those, copy paste. The more that you put them together, you're probably going to train yourself to do it anyhow. It could be a benefit to yourself and to others if you want to put them in different locations, or if you want to put the videos on other platforms. You want to put them on TikTok, you want to put them on Instagram, you want to put them wherever. You got little clips. You're like, hey, I saw this video the other day. I was in the middle of a live stream and Vinny said this little clip here is about 30 seconds where Vinny was like walking through some deal, and you want to clip that out and put it somewhere. Go to town on it. All I ask is that make sure that you are signed up as an affiliate and that you're an approved affiliate, okay? And, you know, keep it positive. Try not to get into the negative stuff. You know, if you get negative or whatever, we do reserve the right to go, you know, it's not just a right, it is a privilege to be able to use our content, but if you're using our content in a positive way, we're game for it, right? Here's a full affiliate chat. A lot of folks talking about it. There's Algobox artwork. If you want to go in and grab some of our, any of the stuff that you see here in the chat, our logos or any of that kind of stuff, and you want to put those out there. If you want to do something on, hey, you know, the way that we do sessions in Algobox, you want to teach your own, it would be even better if you go out there and teach it. You want to talk about, you want to argue about the fact that Vinny says, hey, use this type of mouse, the G300. Any of that content is there and available for you to use. Go and download any of our videos. There's a app that I would recommend using called the 4K Downloader. If you haven't used the 4K Downloader, you should definitely check that one out. I'm going to actually pull up a quick tab on that real quick. 4K video downloader. Great little tool here. It is free to use, but people have asked before. They said, hey, how come, you know, there's all these restrictions around downloading stuff. If you use this one, you can actually download in high resolution. Some people said, oh, I was only able to download it in 720p or 1080p. If you use the 4K downloader and select the second option up at the top, don't select the default auto, but select it to download an MKV format, you'll be able to download in the highest resolution 2K or 4K for our newer videos in 2K or the older videos in 4K on the Algobox official YouTube channel. And that is the 4K video downloader, and literally repurpose our content, put it where you'd like. And if you want to use your affiliate code down below, don't forget, all you got to do, if somebody signs up for a 2-week free trial, you will still get credit for it. We have a 365-day cookie, which means that if somebody comes in within 365 days, an entire year of you having recommended them to come and check out, do a 2-week free trial with us, or go through a boot camp, any of the free training stuff, come into our Discord. If they've used your affiliate link that you put on the video, again, it could be our video and you're just reposting it somewhere, but it's got your affiliate link on it, you will get credit for someone if they do sign up. So you're helping others, you're helping yourself. So little passive income stream idea there for you on the affiliates. And people have been asking and waiting, going, hey, I thought we were waiting for a new website. Well, the website thing kind of fell through. I ended up just ultimately making the final decision to go, you know what, I'm going to keep the video style of the same one. I got a lot of great ideas from a lot of people, but the colorings and stuff, it was just hard for the website people who are coming with us to, you know, really push the idea that I felt in my mind about what our site should be in the style that it is. So we are going to maintain the way we are. We're not going to make any changes. We're not going to change our affiliate links on the back end. So if you've got the old affiliate links and you were waiting around to go, hey, I was waiting for the new site or waiting for the new affiliate system, it's there. It's the same. So use your affiliate links. If your old affiliate links are there, there's no need to change them. So go to town on it. If you got any questions, come hit me up. There's creatives over there as well. So if you're a person who wants to go out there and put creatives on websites, if you're one of those professional affiliates that knows how to do all that stuff and you're going to use AdSense to push those around, we've got some creatives there for you and even more to come. So check out this section here. And there will be more resources placed in this area. If you aren't learning, hey, I've never used any of this stuff to make videos, there's lots of little videos here to show you how to do some of those and suggestions on some of the quickest and easiest ways to make some of those as well. All right, there is my shameless plug on the affiliates. I hope you guys want to come and join us in the affiliate program and let other people know about our awesome system. All right, back to the Enigma DCDM. This is one of the most powerful setups in our arsenal. Listen to me very closely. If you traded nothing else but this, I would challenge you to go back test this and see how big you can get on just this strategy alone. This is the Enigma plus double cross, double move, which are, first of all, my favorites by themselves individually as it is, and these in combination with one another. A single one is like a MoonShot, right? You got a MoonShot, which turns into a double cross, double move on top of that. Let's go. All right, this is a extremely powerful play setup, and usually going to give you bigger targeting as well. That's why it is so powerful. Let's get into the details of this one here. The Enigma plus the DCDM, a combination of Enigma and DCDM. The Flowmaster Enigma combined with a DCDM strategy, can we say that one more time, please? Creates a powerful trading approach. When the DCDM appears, it significantly strengthens the Enigma signal, potentially doubling the move. This confluence provides you the option to set your take profit at the DCDM yellow target line for a potentially filled target. Now, what is the normal target on an Enigma? This screenshot was obviously taken either before we even had auto targeting on, because you don't see the blue line, or it was taken off purposefully just to give the demonstration to run this all the way up to its Enigma target. But if normally the target on an Enigma is probably like right here for a 20 bag, okay, double cross, double move. I can't tell because I don't have the side numbers over on the right and don't know how big these bars are, but this is a huge move opportunity where you can hold the entire thing all the way out to the gold line. Do you understand the difference? If we need a little bit more review, but I'm just going to show you some examples of these. So Enigma, then after the Enigma. Now this does mean this is an Enigma, then a double cross, double move. I'm not really interested. It's not as cool. If you get a double cross and they're over here somewhere, then you get an Enigma. We're just playing it regular. But if you get the double cross after the Enigma, now I will be adjusting my targets immediately to push out and look for that gold line. Combine DCDM with Enigma for a powerful strategy. Set targets at the yellow DCM line and potentially double your move, making it ideal for larger players. Well, larger plays. Now, stop is a little bit deeper. Okay, got to put my stop back behind the Enigma. So it could be deeper. Or if you want to put a stop back behind the double cross move, I wouldn't fault you. But then you want a 2-try rule on entry, re-enter on a double cross. Thank you, Eddie. Eddie put a link there to the Algobox clip channel there as well. All right, here is a short side play. Right there. Looking juicy. And another. Boom. And another. This one right here, that's $6,000. It's not even at its target yet. Yudge. All right. The Enigma released. It's Saturday. We're calling it early. Thanks for hanging out. Be back tomorrow for session 7. I will see you guys on Monday for our live stream. Don't forget Mentorship Monday. I'll catch you there. Thanks for hanging out. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mod Squad, Curtis G, and Eddie B, I am sending out that big H-Town. See ya. Art team, you know what to do. Let's show these fine folks how it's done.
The old adage where, the individual investor doesn't have a chance because the institutional investor has better technology, better information, and, more money and better opportunity, I don't think it's real anymore. I think the edge is on the individual investor because they're small, they're nimble, they can trade, they can use they have better front-end technology.
Don't waste your time. Leave the technical analysis to us. You just play the game.
Forex is littered with crooks, black hat guys, all this kind of shifty characters and companies trying to extract money from your pocket and stick it into theirs. And one of the things that they do is operate these Forex signals.
Delta vibrating. Long. Look for long. Harmonic paddle. Pick up. Down on freeze. Order filled. Target filled.
Audio Jungle.